Today we're going to be talking about the four main methods for setting the adze on an inward swinging door. The first method we'll talk about is known as the adze slide. With this method, the adze of the Halligan is put on the face of the door. It's forcefully slid across the door face, hoping to insert it into the gap between the door and the jamb. It looks something like this. The advantage to this method is if it works, you'll have quickly set the adze exactly where you want it on the door. The disadvantage is you're counting on the fact that the door you're working on is going to have a nice flat face like this, when in reality, most residential doors we work on are going to have inlays and patterns in them like this. That's going to lead to that adze ricocheting or bouncing off those inlays as you try to set the Halligan, meaning that it's not going to be fully set into the jamb. The other problem is that most doors we're going to come across won't be as loose as the door props you work on. If you have a nice tight fitted door, a door with weather stripping, you may not get the adze fully set. That's going to lead to it spitting or rolling out of the jamb. We're only prying against about 1/4 of an inch, so we want to make sure that the adze is as set as it can possibly be. The next method we'll talk about is physically hitting the adze of the Halligan in. Now if you're by yourself, you got to do it solo, but hopefully you have a second firefighter to help out with you. It looks something like this. Now, this is a totally valid method, and sometimes you might have to use it, especially if it's a very tight door or a door with secondary locks somewhere else. The downside is the fact that most of the time it's simply not necessary. Most of the time there's enough flex in these doors that with one of the next two methods we'll talk about, you'll be able to remove this step entirely from the process. So most of the time it's just not necessary. That leads to our primary or go-to method for setting the adze of the Halligan, and that's the foot press method. It looks something like this. You can see the amount of flex we get just with pushing down low with our boot. This is our go-to on any door that we come across because it's going to eliminate any other step. We're simply going to press down low, insert the adze, and you're ready to rock. The next method, and the final method we'll talk about, is the knee press method. This method is going to come into play when you're forced down by heat and smoke and you have no other way to do it. It's going to look something like this. With this method, we're going to press in with the knee that's furthest away from the locks. In this situation, the locks are on the right-hand side, so I'm going to press in with my left knee. As I press in with my left knee, at the exact same time, I'm going to set that adze quickly. It takes a little bit of timing, but it's a necessary step to use when your zero visibility has forced you down. So that's it. The four main methods for inserting the adze on an inward swinging door.